Hi guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. More like welcome to my living room. Today we are obviously not filming in my normal podcast studio, even though that is in my home. This is just a different part of my home. We're in the living room. It's very cozy, except for the fact that it's very loud. So if you hear my ice maker or my dishwasher or any of the other noises in my house, just know that's what it is. But yeah, thanks for joining me today, guys. If you're new here, my name is Nicole, and we talk about the elephants in the room, all the things that get left unaddressed, but that we all think about and that we all struggle with and that we all know. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Today we're actually going to be talking about something that was an idea that was brought to me by a friend and supporter of mine. Her name is Callie. Shout out Callie. She posted on her story asking if I could talk about how we can be happy for others when we are hurting or when we haven't made it there yet, when we're not where we want to be and someone maybe is where we want to be. And I loved this idea because I think this is something that I've definitely struggled with in seasons of my life. But something else that I feel like kind of ties into this topic is how can we also be happy for ourselves when others are hurting or they haven't made it there yet? And so I think both are equally as important. And in many ways and times in my life, I have not known how to really be present and do either of them in each season of my life. So I want to talk a little bit about both. But yeah, how do we celebrate others when our heart is breaking? And on the flip side, how do you celebrate yourself when others are hurting? I think it's hard, especially as someone who comes from a broken home where I learned to be someone who is very codependent, very empathetic, and very much a people pleaser. And now that I've been in therapy and have started healing and working through getting out of that, I think it can be really hard for me at times to separate my feelings from others. Like when someone else is hurting, I feel like I have to hurt with them. And so I feel like this is something, like I said, I've struggled with a lot. So I want to talk a little bit about both. So being happy for others when you're hurting or you're waiting. So this could be in regards to anything. This could be in regards to certain successes, whether that's in your career, in, whatever it is. Like maybe someone is doing something that you've always wanted to do or something that you've been waiting for and you're not there yet. Or maybe someone is walking into the next stage of their relationship and you're not there yet. Maybe someone is getting engaged or getting married and you're getting divorced or whatever it may be. There are so many times in life where we want something or we're waiting on something to happen. We're praying to God. We are trying to put our best foot forward for something to happen. We're seeking something and it's just not happening or it hasn't happened yet. And so when you start to see other people around you, especially loved ones or even just people, have that success or have reached that thing that you haven't and that you've been working so hard to reach or that you've been praying so hard for, it can be super discouraging. And first, I'll just kind of touch in a career sense. I think it is so easy to see other people doing what you want to do and feel envious and even feel a bit of jealousy and feel a bit of insecurity. Like, how are they there and I'm not? Why are they there and I'm not? And I think we would be lying if we said that we have never felt that way as humans. I think naturally it's normal to look at someone who has something you want or is doing something you want to do and to be envious of them. It's a natural feeling to have. But that doesn't mean that we can't be happy for them. And so I want to talk a little bit about kind of this feeling I'm talking about, this feeling of maybe envy or jealousy or sometimes it's not even necessarily that. Sometimes it's not even in a negative way. Sometimes it's just kind of like in a way you feel inspired by them or drawn to them or like, oh, I wish I had this or I want what they have. Maybe they're a role model to you, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative. But In a career aspect, for sure, it is so, so easy to compare yourself to others. And I've talked about this before, but like, I think we all know this, but comparison is just the thief of joy. And I feel like comparison only does one of two things. It either makes you feel better than someone else, or it makes you feel less than someone else. I don't feel like it actually ever gives you a fair representation of where you're at, because you are on your own individual journey, and comparing yourself to someone else, nothing good comes from it. It literally just makes you feel better than someone or feel worse. And so pride obviously is not a good thing, and insecurity isn't a good thing. And that's why I think, it just never, ever, ever produces any good fruits when we compare ourselves to others. I think we can compare ourselves to ourselves and to where we've been and where we're going, and look at our progress and look at how far we've come. But I say that all to say that there's so many times in my life that I've looked at someone else's situation, whether it be in career, relationship, finances, like whatever, physical health, emotional health. Like, you look at anyone who has something that you want. You want to be healthier. You want to be happier. You want to have more money. You want to be more successful. You want to have healthier relationships, whatever it is. You want to have a bigger house. You want to have this. You want to have that, whatever. It's so easy to look at those people and think that if I just had that, I would be happy. And if I could just have this, I would be fulfilled. And we spend so much of our lives wishing and waiting for the thing to happen that we so desperately want, to feel peace and to feel joy. And the problem with that is that we're never content, because what I'm here to tell you is it's never enough. When you reach this milestone, well, you're going to want the next milestone. And when you reach that milestone, you're going to want the next thing. And that is the lie about this idea that these things in the world will make us happy and will fulfill us. Like, they really don't. And there's always going to be something you don't have. There's always going to be something you want. There's always going to be a way that you can compare yourself to someone else and feel like your life sucks. Always. Or a part of your life sucks. And I say this from a place of, I feel like I have lived on two extremely different realities in this life. I have been extremely poor. I have also now learned how to live, or lived with, an excess or a comfortable amount of money. And I have also had no social status, like got bullied growing up, didn't have a lot of friends, and now I have experienced, I guess, a small amount of social status or acceptance from the world. And I have been single, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've been in a relationship. I feel like I have lived so many different extremes of life, I guess, of things you think that would make you happy. And when I was working a 9-to-5 and I didn't work for myself and I was so exhausted and so burnt out, I thought, if I just could do what I love and not work a 9-to-5, if I could just make my passion my job, I will be happy. And then I did, and I realized that actually doesn't make me happy. And in a lot of ways, I actually was able to enjoy what I do more in the regards of career and passion when it wasn't my job, when it was just a passion. And I used to look at people who had money and think, oh, well, if I just had money, if I just didn't have to live paycheck to paycheck, I would be happy. I wouldn't have any stress in my life. And now I don't live paycheck to paycheck, and I am just as stressed out as I was before in a different way. And I used to think, well, if I could just be in a great relationship and whatever, like, when you're single, you think, oh, once I'm in a relationship, I'll just be so happy. And then I'm like, oh, wow, actually being in a relationship is also hard and doesn't fulfill you. And I could go on and on and on. And also being in the position that I'm in, where I am, in a relationship with someone who is a public figure in a way, and even in my past relationship, a little bit as well. I've been in the music industry. I've been in, this space of whatever you want to call it. I've met influencers and celebrities and all these people with money and success and everything that the world could have to offer them. And I used to think, if I could just have even an ounce of that person's stress-free life, or if I could just have this, or if I could just have that, I would be happy. Like, they have nothing to worry about. They have no stress in their lives. Like, if I was in their position, I wouldn't feel this way. And obviously, I am not a public figure myself or a celebrity or whatever, but I have firsthand experienced walking in rooms with some of them, having friendships with some of them, whatever. And I'm not saying this to flex that. I'm saying this to say sometimes those are the saddest people, and their lives, it may not seem like it from the outside, but they are very, 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 very normal people who go through normal struggles. You just don't see them and you just don't understand them because it's so different. And what I'm trying, it's hard to explain this and it's hard to say this, but what I'm just trying to say, guys, is like, the influencer you see on your For You page, or this person or that person or this artist or whatever, like, their lives are not perfect. And I know that that's hard to swallow, because when you're in a position where you are struggling with money, looking at someone who has money, you would think, oh, like, they just have it so easy and they don't have any problems. And it's not to say that they don't have it easy. It's not to say that there's not so much blessing that comes with all that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that every single person in their own way has their own struggles, and everything you do in this life and everything you have in this life comes at a cost. There is a cost to everything. Like, if you get something, there will be a downside to that thing. There is no world in which anything comes freely. You have to pay a price for anything you do or anything you have. And you can say that and again, I only say that from a place of, I have seen and experienced firsthand both places in life. Not me directly, but I've seen people near me experience those things. And they don't make you happy. And even, like, if you were to have told me years ago that I would be able to do what I love and not have to work 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the happiest person ever and I won't have any problems and all the things. And now it's like, I see that everything just comes with a price. Everything comes with a price, and it's not to say that it's bad, but all I'm trying to say is that do not compare yourself to other people. You have no idea what they have done to get where they are, what they deal with to have what they have, what they experience day to day. And also, like, of course, it's common sense to say people have it harder than other people. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, you just have no idea what anyone has done or what they go through or what their life looks like. All we see is such a small shimmer of someone's life and a small shimmer of what they have. We have no idea what 24 hours in their day looks like and what has happened to lead them up to that point. And I say that all to say is that we are so unique, and comparison is just pointless. Like, when you compare yourself to other people, there's just no point in it, because you are no one else and no one else is you. And no one else has had the experiences that you have had, didn't grow up the way that you grew up, doesn't have all your individual traits, characteristics, all the things, all your circumstances. Like, they are all so unique. And so I'm just telling you, I know it's not fair and life isn't fair, but comparison is so pointless, and it does nothing for you. It does nothing for you. Like, nothing, nothing, nothing. Because comparing yourself, again, will either make you feel better about yourself than others, which is prideful, or it will make you feel worse about yourself than others. And we are all on our own individual journeys. And so I say that all to say, I get that it's hard to be happy for others when they have what you want or what you have lost. A great example of this for me was when I went through my divorce, which was super, obviously, you guys know, hard. I think I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy. It's so hard. But I lost everything I thought I ever wanted and what I thought would make me happy. And that was a normal life. My whole life I've spent desiring to have normalcy in my life, because I've never had a normal life. Now I realize that there's no such thing as a normal life. But I was so sad when it happened, and it shook my whole life up. One of my biggest fears was being divorced. I didn't want to repeat the cycle that my parents had repeated, and it was super embarrassing for me. It was so embarrassing for me at the time, which is one of the reasons I talk a lot about it now, is because I want to break the stigma around it. But all of that to say, I kind of got married really quickly out of high school. So, like, I got married when I was 18, as you guys know. So then I got divorced when I was like 20. So, like, a year and a half later, I'm getting a divorce. So right around the time that I was getting a divorce, everyone in my high school and some of my friends were getting married and were getting engaged. And right around when I was announcing my divorce, everyone was announcing their engagements and their weddings. And so that was super hard for me. It was super hard to be happy for others when I was so bitter and sad and heartbroken to be divorced and to be in that situation. And so all of that to say, I feel like the first part of learning how to be happy for others when you're hurting or you haven't arrived yet is to accept and acknowledge that feeling. Like, it's okay to acknowledge that it is really hard to be happy for someone else when you are hurting, especially when it directly relates to what you've lost or what you haven't achieved yet or what you haven't gotten yet. When you haven't arrived to that destination, it is really, really hard to not compare yourself. It is really, really hard to have genuine happiness for other people when you're heartbroken over that same thing. So, like, for me, it was hard. It was hard to see people from my high school getting engaged and getting married. And even though I was happy for them, it was really hard to, like, really, really authentically be happy for them, because I was so sad and heartbroken and bitter about marriage in general and about being divorced. And so I think the first step is name the reality. It's okay that you feel sad or, even envious in a way, or maybe bitter or whatever. Like, whatever it is that you feel around that specific topic or thing, even if it doesn't directly correlate to other people, seeing other people have it will make you feel a type of way. That's okay. That's okay. You're human. You're normal. But part of my life journey has been learning that you can be happy for others when you're hurting. But I feel like there is a way to do it. So first step, name the reality. It's okay that it's hard to be happy for other people when you're hurting, or when you have lost something, or when you haven't arrived where you want to arrive and that person has what you want. It's okay. It's okay for it to be a challenge to be happy. You're not a bad person. You're not crazy. Normal human emotion, and that's okay. Now, normalize it. Like, don't deny that feeling that you have, because denial just will cause so much shame, and we don't want to feel shame and guilt. We want to have freedom around these emotions, because what do we always say? Oftentimes with these things we feel, really to get past them or to work through them or to heal from them, we just need to feel them. And then you realize they're not as big as you actually think. But when we shove them down and we try to push them away because we don't want to feel it and we don't want to accept that we feel that way, we often just bury it, and it turns into bitterness, resentment, and usually it grows. So that's why we have to feel things. So the next thing is boundaries are healthy. And I know we've talked about boundaries before, but boundaries come with wisdom, not weakness. So, step back from triggers until you can authentically celebrate. So it's okay to set parameters and boundaries around exposure to these things. So here's a great example. When I was going through my divorce, this wasn't the only reason that I did this, but one of the reasons that I did what I did was because I wanted to limit my exposure to these very triggering things. So I got off of social media for like almost a whole year. I didn't delete my social media app. I didn't delete my social media account. I just deleted my app. And I took a break because I knew, seeing other people getting engaged and getting married and getting DMs asking about my marriage and all these different things, I knew it was going to hurt me. I knew I was almost a little bit too sensitive for it, and I didn't want to be bitter, and I didn't want to be angry, and I didn't want to be resentful. I wanted to be genuinely happy for other people, and so I decided to get off of social media for a little while so I could, work on my heart posture towards all of that and start healing from what happened to me, so I could actually really, really be excited about other people's engagements and marriages and whatever. So I think boundaries are amazing. Now, I actually skipped over this one, but the second step, this is very important: feelings versus choice. So accept the feeling, honor the feeling. Like, it's okay to feel sad that someone else has what you don't, or that someone else is where you want to be. That's okay. That's totally fine. But after that, we have to remember that there is a choice that we have. And sometimes the choices that we make in this life are not going to be comfortable, are not going to be easy, and are not going to match the way we feel. But we don't operate out of our feelings, we operate out of our character, and we operate out of our morals. So choosing to do something, even when you don't feel it, actually sometimes will lead us to be able to feel it as well. But sometimes we have to choose first. And letting our emotions and our feelings dictate our life is not only self-centered, but it doesn't ever lead to anything good, because we are emotional beings. We have a lot of emotions, and that's normal, but oftentimes emotion is not rooted in logic, and it's not rooted in who we are. And part of life is realizing that you're going to go through hard stuff all the time. And so learning how to not let your emotions and your feelings dictate what you choose to do, and letting your character and your morals dictate that and who you want to be is very important. And so actions often precede emotions. So happiness doesn't have to start as a feeling. It can start as a choice. Choosing small steps isn't fake, it's discipline. So when you think about how can I be happy for others when I'm hurting, or when I haven't arrived yet, or when I've lost something that they have, it's remembering that to be a good friend, to be a good partner, to be a good loved one, sometimes we have to put our feelings aside, and we have to show up for that person in their moment of success, in their moment of joy, in their moment of goodness, whatever it is going on in their life. Maybe their relationship is going good. Maybe their work is going good. Maybe for once they don't have something bad going on. And learning how to show up and be happy for them while we're hurting is so important, and is true connection, relationship, friendship, and love. It's really showing up selflessly in that way. So to say that, I say you may not feel super excited because maybe you're hurting, but you're going to say, I am going to be excited for you. I am happy for you. And you're going to do the action of showing that person that you're excited for them, that you're happy for them, that you love them. And even not just loved ones, just random people that you see on the internet or in life, like being happy for other people's happiness is such a gift. And sometimes it's saying, I'm going to choose it even if I don't feel it. But when we choose it, sometimes that emotion will then come. That feeling of actual happiness will show up. And so, if you know someone and something's going good for them, even if everything's going wrong for you, doing the little things, sending them a text, praying for them, being like, this is so amazing, God, keep blessing their life, keep making their relationship better, keep blessing their finances, keep blessing their success of this, whatever it is. Give them this thing, give them that, like praying on their success and their blessing and their goodness doesn't take away from yours, and it actually adds to yours. And not adds to yours in a way that like you'll receive more, but I just mean if you can be happy for others even when you're hurting, that is a true friend, that is a true loved one, that is true love. And so, like I said, just because you don't feel it doesn't mean you can't choose it. So show up for people, be excited for people, celebrate all their wins, be happy for them. Even if you don't always feel that way, show up like you do, because our feelings won't always match our choices, but our choices are what matter, and usually your feelings will follow that choice. And, yeah. My next one was the boundaries, but I skipped it. But yeah, so setting boundaries is okay. And like I said, that doesn't mean, like, you shouldn't have to set boundaries around people when they're having success. Like, we should learn how to be happy for others. But all I'm saying is, in your own personal ways. Like for me, like I said, with social media, I decided to get off of Instagram, which kind of helped me start to work through my bitterness and my heart. So then I could actually show up authentically happy for everyone else and what they were doing and their relationships and all the things. Because I think when you kind of step back from triggers and start healing what's going on internally and start listening to the voice inside of you that's grasping for validation and for love and for acceptance, when you accept that part of yourself and you accept that bitterness and you accept that sadness and that pain and start working through it, then you're able to really show up authentically and really be happy for others and really be happy for the goodness of anything, even if it hits close to home. And it did take me time, but like I very quickly was able to like go to weddings and go to engagement parties and be excited about it, even though, it was a soft spot in my heart because I was divorced. I was able to do it, and I did get to that place, but it did take me time to really heal what I was going through underneath first. And I think just remembering, the fourth thing is remembering that there are seasons of life. I know we've talked about this before, but every day of your life, everything you ever go through in your life, you are in a different season, and everyone around you is in a different season than you. You may be in a season where you are bearing fruit. You are bearing the fruit of seeds that you planted, and you are just having blessing over blessing over blessing, and you are just happy and things are going well for you. You feel good, all the things. Now you may be in a season of planting. So maybe you're not there yet and you're planting the seeds, but you haven't seen the fruits yet, and they're still going to take a long time to grow, and then maybe you're in a season of watering your seeds and you're hoping every day, I hope these seeds, they blossom and they turn into this beautiful, delicious fruit. Or maybe you're in a season of uprooting rotten fruit. Maybe you planted seeds and the fruit didn't come out the way you wanted to, or it came out rotten because you didn't follow the right process or because it wasn't the right seed. Whatever it is, you may be in one of those seasons, and it's so easy to look at everyone around you and everything around you and wish that you could be in the next season or that season or this season. But there is a purpose in every single season of your life. And really, no one is greater than the other, because I think we love to idolize and glamorize the idea of anything that we don't have. When we don't have something, we think that once we'll have it, we'll be good, we'll be happy, when in reality, it's like this never-ending empty cup that just keeps getting overflooded by water and pouring out, because our happiness and our contentment and our fulfillment doesn't come from the things of the world. I believe it comes from our identity, which my identity is in Jesus, and from a lot of different things. But it's just this never-ending chase that we're all in to have this happiness, have this joy. But I feel like what I've realized in my 26 years of life is that you're never going to arrive. There's never going to be a day where your life is perfect, where there's not something that isn't hurting you, there's not something stressful in your life, or that you have everything that you thought you wanted. Like, there's always going to be something going on in your life that's going to be painful, and there's always going to be something that you feel like you don't have. There's always going to be something about yourself that you don't like. Like, that's just the reality of life. And so learning how to not only be happy and celebrate all your wins and celebrate all the good things in your life and have gratitude for them, while also acknowledging the pain and acknowledging the bad, is, I feel like, literally one of the hardest and most important parts of life, and something that I'm still trying to learn and still trying to master. But I think I spent so long thinking that I would just arrive, or that I would do this or that, and then I would get to a place where I felt this or that. And now realizing that it's like there's always going to be something around you that's stressful. There's always going to be something that could make you sad. But on the other end, there's always something that you can be happy about. There's always something you can be grateful for. There's always something good that you can look at. And so it's just one of those things about life. But yeah, so just remembering gratitude rewires the brain. It grows your neuroplasticity, lowers envy, and builds resilience. So practicing more time being aware and speaking out the things that you're grateful for in your life is so important. And it's so easy to be discontent. It's so easy to be bitter. It's so easy to be angry. But I think so oftentimes we forget that all of us in our own ways are walking in a blessing that we once prayed for, or a season that we once prayed for. And it's important to be present in the season that you're in and not let it just get lost in the, idea that the grass is greener, because it's not. So yeah, those are my steps. Those are some things that I feel like can help you when you're hurting, want to celebrate others. Be honest, admit it's hard, set boundaries, choose before you feel, remember the seasons, and practice gratitude. And the next thing we're going to talk about is being happy for yourself when others are hurting. Now, this is just equally as important, because I've spent many seasons of my life when I've walked in so much blessing from the Lord and blessing over my life that I have not let myself be happy. And even very recently, I've been going through a lot of stuff with my family, and the last few months have been a little better, but about 8 months ago it started. And when it started, I mean, you can even visibly tell in some of my podcast episodes, like, I was so drained and exhausted and sad, and I have always kind of struggled with like not letting other people or other people's pain just rule over my life. And I think this kind of ties into just, like empathy versus enmeshment. So empathy, people who are empaths, you could say, or have a little bit more empathy, maybe struggle with codependency, people pleasing. It can feel like you can't be happy unless others are. So if there's other people around you, family, friends, loved ones, that are going through hard times, it's really easy to take on the burden of what it is that they're going through and to try to carry it. And emotional enmeshment is carrying what isn't yours. And I've definitely struggled with that, where I will carry the weight of someone else's emotions. And the second that they are feeling sad or heartbroken, or they're experiencing a ton of pain, it's really hard for me to separate from them in that way and to not carry that. on my own. And what I've had to learn is that it is important to hold space for other people's emotions and to hold space for other people's pain, especially people that you love, but you have to not carry it on your shoulders. You have to be able to shelf it, hold space for it, take it in, and then put it on a shelf and come back to you in your own life and be present in your own life. And learning how to let other people grieve around you and hurt around you while also allowing yourself to grow and to love and to feel joy and excitement is really hard. And I think this is something I am working on doing, especially since everything has happened with my family. It's really easy for me to just get so drowned out by other people's emotions and other people's pain and let it take away from my own joy in my own life. But I'm trying to learn how to be present in my own life and be able to not let other people's emotions rob my joy and rob my own life, because at the end of the day, it's not my burden to carry. And I think it's easy to feel like you have to when you love someone, but we're not meant to carry their burden. We're meant to hold space for them, to love them, but also to allow ourselves to be present and joyful in our own lives enough that, we're not emptying our own cup in pursuit of trying to, hold space for someone else's pain, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, I just think with that being said, the second step is just giving yourself permission to enjoy your own joy. Your blessings don't cancel their pain. Both can exist. Just because someone is going through something hard and experiencing pain, or maybe they haven't received something yet, they haven't made it yet, and you have in whatever destination you're looking at or thing you're looking at. Like their pain and your pleasure, they don't cancel each other out. Like you feeling pain and them feeling pain doesn't make their pain go away. And so it's like, why do we spend so much time neglecting our own lives and not being present in our own lives when others are experiencing pain, thinking that that means that they won't feel the pain? Like if they're going through a tragedy, they're going through a tragedy. There's nothing that you can do to stop that. And you then pushing yourself into your own version of that tragedy doesn't actually take away their pain. It just makes you both miserable. And that is a weird concept, and it's weird to be happy when someone else is sad, especially someone that you love. But learning how to separate those things is so important. And like I said, holding space, allowing them to be sad, allowing them a space to be sad with you, but also being able to step away from that conversation or that relationship at the end of the night and be able to have joy in your own life is really important and something I'm still learning to do. And the next thing, I don't know if you guys have ever had a friend or someone that you love, or even just someone in your life that you feel like preys on your downfall. It's almost like they're secretly happy when you fail, or there's almost a joy that someone can get from someone else not being successful or not reaching what they want to. And I'm here to tell you, if that's something you struggle with, you really need to check your heart posture. And that's not the way that we should live life. It's sad. That's not how to be a friend. That's not how to be a family member. That's not how to be a loved one. And so don't be the friend who only wants your friends to be happy when you're happy, or only wants your friends to be sad when you're sad. Like, part of being in a loving relationship that isn't too enmeshed or codependent is allowing each person to be in whatever season they're in and holding space for that. So holding space for someone who's happy or holding space for someone who's sad, and you don't have to be lined up perfectly. So that's important. And just like I said before, like nothing is ever as it seems. There's a cost to everything that we have in this life, and you may feel like someone has the life that you want or the thing that you want, But comparison is pointless, and until you're in someone's shoes and you walk a day in their life, you have no idea if that's actually what you want. So just don't compare yourself to others. You can compare yourself to yourself and work towards being better for yourself, but don't compare yourself to others. So just when we are trying to learn how to be happy for ourselves when others are hurting or in tragedy, it is holding space, don't carry, be present, but don't absorb. Stay present in your joy. Enjoy blessings without guilt. Check your heart posture. Don't celebrate other people's failures. Celebrate their wins. And celebrate responsibly. When you are having blessing in your life or joy in your life, or you are reaching certain things and you know someone that you love or someone around you isn't, I think sharing your wins delicately is important, just to be considerate to them and their feelings, obviously knowing that it's something that may hurt them or trigger them or just be a sore subject. And so I think sharing your wins humbly without being too prideful or whatever it may be is important. But again, I think that only works when you have people around you that also want to celebrate you even when they're hurting. And so I think that's where that double side comes in for having like a really good relationship with anyone, whether it's a loved one, a family member, a friend, whoever, which are all kind of loved ones. But yeah, I just say this all to say, guys, this is hard, and it's something, like I said, that I feel like I am learning how to do, but both are equally as important. And so I just want to encourage you guys to trust the timing of the season that you're in. We are all in different seasons. You may be in a season of seeding. You may be in a season of planting. You may be in a season of uprooting. You may be in a season of the fruit. You may be in whatever season, watering. And whatever season you're in, there's a purpose in it, and don't miss that. Like, don't miss that. It's so easy to think the path of least resistance or the path with the least amount of pain is actually what produces the best fruit and actually is what is the point of life. It's just like being happy all the time and having joy all the time. Like, that's not the point of life. And oftentimes the best fruit and the best peace and joy and fulfillment actually comes from the most painful seasons, because of what it does to our heart, what it does to our empathy, how it develops our character and who we are. And there's so many seasons where I missed out on what was happening because I just wanted to stop feeling pain. And sometimes pain is good. Sometimes pain actually leads us to so many things that are so worthwhile and good. And so just don't miss the season that you're in. Whatever season you're in, there's a reason. And you have no idea now, but it may be preparing you for something good, for something greater than you could even imagine. And if my life isn't a reflection of that, I don't know what is. Like, I've been through so many challenging seasons and so much pain in my life, but I would have never ever known that it would all lead me to so much blessing and so much favor over my life and so much goodness and so much purpose. And if I wouldn't have gone through all of those seasons, I wouldn't be where I am now. And when I was going through each and every season, it felt like I just wanted to get out of it and get to the next thing. But I now realize I missed the point in so many of those seasons. And obviously it all works out in the end, and I'm here now, but I feel like I'm now trying to learn how to like really embrace each season I'm in and ask God why I'm in that season and what I can learn from it. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20, but I now look back at all those seasons and realize there was a purpose in all of them. And I know it sounds cliche, but I really believe that it's true. And just hold space for others, but stay grounded in your own life. Protect your heart so you can heal. Setting boundaries is okay. And celebrate wins. Celebrate everyone's wins. Celebrating other people's wins truly will bring you more joy. And there's nothing better than a friend or person in your life, a loved one, that just can be excited for you. Can be excited for you when you need them to be excited. Can be sad for you when you need them to be sad. And those are the best type of people. And so I think we should all strive to be those kind of people. But I do think sometimes it can take work. And part of that is just acknowledging the natural, emotions that we feel when we're hurting or when we haven't arrived to where we're supposed to. But again, that's why comparison is so evil and never good, because like I said, someone else's win doesn't take away from your, or someone else's joy doesn't take away from your pain. So it doesn't cancel each other out. So allowing yourself and showing up and being excited for other people, even when you're not in a great place, is so important. And it actually can make you feel so much more joy and peace because you're celebrating everyone's wins. Yeah, I just say with that, comparison steals twice, but gratitude gives back every time. So yeah, this week, I think something that I'm going to be reflecting on is, where do I need to choose joy and where do I need to release comparison in my life? And I encourage you guys to do the same. This life is brutal and gnarly, and we can go through some nasty, hard things in this life, but we also experience so much goodness. And so I think we just have to remember we are in a competition with no one other than ourselves. And that is the best way to live, the most freeing way to live. So yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys would like to support this podcast, you guys can share this with a friend, share it on your story, leave this podcast a rating and review, subscribe to me on YouTube, Elephants in the Room, and then all my socials are Elephants in the Room as well. I love you guys so much, and I'll close this episode out by saying what elephants are in your room. I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.